Joining me today is Paul Boris, Head of Manufacturing Industries at GE Digital. GE is a company that is both a key player in the industrial Internet of Things as well as a large customer and user of the industrial Internet of Things. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, Greg.
So, Paul, we've heard a lot about big data over the last several years. So where are we on that, and is this still an important topic for industrial companies?
I think it's, when you look at the movement of data, the volume of data, there's a lot of conversation around big data. In our applications, if you think about a pair of engines on a wing, on a plane, we'll get a terabyte of data back from a flight. So rather than big data, I think we talk about insanely big data. And if you take those concepts and move them back into the plant and further up the supply chain, the digital thread, the concepts of taking engineering data through manufacturing into the field and service creates an enormous amount of data, even at an order of magnitude larger than what most people think about. So it is a big topic. It's just not very easy to deal with if you don't have the right tools in place.
So the data is an important piece. I understand that. How does that, going forward, how does that play into the Internet of Things story?
So when I look at the Internet of Things, when I think about the concept, you'll hear a lot of the consumer grade use cases, things that are associated with sports stats or how many cups of coffee in a city in the morning. We like to think about the industrial Internet of Things and how you can expose and consume that insanely big data in a way that helps you become more prescriptive in the process. So it is the key enabler, being able to get at that data, being able to transport that data, being able to store and analyze that data, that is really going to unlock, I think, some of the largest use cases for the industrial Internet of Things. And it's at a different rate and a different frequency than what most people think about when they think about IoT. Okay.
So there's been a lot in the news recently about GE Digital and the transformation of GE. So can you just talk a little bit about how the industrial side and the software side are linked?
When we talk about the digital industrial at GE, it's really the combination of IT and OT. So it's tempting to split up industrial and software, to think of them as in two different components, two different pieces. In reality, you can't have one without the other. This is what we're saying. If you're going to drive an industrial environment, it's got to be data-driven. If you're going to develop the software tools, the platform for the industrial Internet of Things predicts the different things that we're working on, you have to have tangible use cases that are being delivered into the supply chain, whether it's on the design side, in the manufacturer, in the service, in the field. That's this concept of a digital thread that runs across all aspects of development and life cycle of a product. And we're finding that by taking things we've already done and know in the field, how we service jet engines, using that data, consuming that data in a way that makes it more available in the decision process, you completely obliterate the line between a digital and industrial, between IT and OT. And it's really they exist in the same space, and one amplifies the performance of the other. And that's really at the heart of the transformation with GE and GE Digital at this point.
Yeah, we're certainly seeing that as well, the need for not only connecting things, but processing them through some kind of platform and applying some analytics and doing something with it at the end. So that certainly squares with the way we're looking at it at ARC. So what do you think are the biggest opportunities for GE going forward?
We've got, depending on how you count them, over 400, over 500 facilities globally. So we're making the transformation internally. We'll roll out this year between 75 and 100 factories on solutions that we've developed internally based on our GE software, based on the industrial Internet of Things platform predicts. And it allows us to test them in our own shop, in the most simplest of terms, eat our own cooking. And we know that if we do this successfully, when we do this successfully, this is going to be something that will be able to move into the marketplace. So we did some of that last year. That was the basis for the solutions that we're rolling out, and it's really about getting connected to assets, not just in a greenfield, but in a brownfield environment, accelerating the accumulation of that data, and then being able to do some learning on it, and having those solutions available for the market, and then also innovating with our customers and our partners. This is a better together strategy. It's about leveraging the entire ecosystem. You kind of wrap that with a concept we call FastWorks, which is about find the valid use case for the customer, what drives value for that end user, that end customer, and then move it out as quickly as you can in a repeatable way. All this comes together to create a lot of value very, very quickly, both inside and outside of GE for our internal plants and our customers as well.
So does that FastWorks program have a special team, or how is it implemented?
So that's a very interesting question, because FastWorks is woven into the culture of what we do. We have programs called FastWorks every day. It's just a different way of thinking about how you bring value to the customer. So what is it we're trying to accomplish? How does it actually create differentiation for the customer? And then how quickly can we move it into a scalable position? And frankly, at this point, every employee in every group is expected to think and behave in this way, because there's a temptation as a huge industrial to slow down and be very plodding. We need to think more like a startup, but bring all of the kind of the goodness that comes from the scale that we have as an organization, the security requirements, everything else that has to be built into those platforms and into those processes.
Sounds like a very powerful approach. Okay, so let's cast ourselves forward a bit. Any thoughts about the future? Where is this all going?
So I've heard just very recently the discussion about how we take and leverage existing systems in manufacturing operations, how things age, how our assets are aging, our skill sets are aging. And if we can take what we've learned from the consumer and the retail markets around the internet, high availability of data, quick access, very simple interactions, simple user interfaces that unlock all kinds of content and data. If we can apply that effectively in the manufacturing operations in the same way that we do that in the field right now, I think we're going to see use cases open up in every aspect of what we do. So what I mean by that is the faster we can get to the data, this concept of get connected, the faster we can start to glean insight from it, this gain insights or start to analyze the data, the faster we can apply things like machine learning, algorithmic-based response to describe how to optimize a process, and not just at the machine level or the cell or the line, but across the entire network. That's going to open up opportunities, I think, that frankly a lot of people haven't even considered yet, and that's right around the corner, quite frankly.
Very interesting. So we're also seeing a lot of our industrial customers asking us about how this technology, this collection of technologies can transform their business. Are you seeing that kind of pull as well?
Absolutely. If you know, for some reason we like to step into a plant and step 20 years into the past and think that that's okay. Our leadership at GE is unambiguous in the fact that we're going to move forward, be data-driven organization, be the digital industrial, and move in that position very aggressively. And I think once we help people change the mindset that this doesn't require tearing out everything they have, replacing it, taking all the risks associated with that, and wondering if this next thing is going to be the thing. If we can work it into the context of what they already know, the systems they already have, kind of drive this bimodal approach that says, look, in the brownfield, we take advantage of the applications and systems you have. In the greenfield, we take advantage of the data, and we bring that together in a way that drives an outcome, a very specific, a very clear outcome. People rally around that approach very quickly. We've seen our facilities do it, and we're seeing customers really become aggressive in how they want to pursue these things and start pulling them into their operations even quicker. So it's a good thing all the way around.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much, Paul. Appreciate talking to you today.
Great talking with you, Greg.
I've been speaking with Paul Boris of GE Digital. Thanks for watching.